I don't know why, but I am. That's it.
Awesome. Welcome. What program are you going to work on?
I'm going to do the 21-day fix.
Awesome. Very good. Marianne, will you introduce yourself?
I'm Marianne. I'm from Salt Lake. I ran into Tina on an airplane. We sat next to each other and had an awesome chat. And she kind of roped me in, which has been a really good thing for me. I've been working on the Country Heat Challenge this month, and I'm not sure yet if I'm going to keep going with that or transition into the 21-day fix. I got PO downloaded, so I got to try that one too. But I've just started this week incorporating a little bit of running into my workout, so that's kind of exciting for me too.
Good.
And I hit officially 50 pounds this week since Mother's Day. So that's exciting too.
Really awesome. So, and I think this will always be one of my favorite stories, meeting Marianne, because not only did we chance meet on an airplane, but I was not even supposed to be on that flight, but because I was focused on not getting on the airplane, I missed my flight out of Denver going to Nashville. So it was supposed to be. She's just been such a light in my life, and I'm just so glad that we had the opportunity to meet.
And we live like 2 miles away from each other.
Right. We were in Denver.
It's crazy.
Yeah, caught on an airplane. It's awesome. Thanks, Marianne, for being on this morning. Okay, Hillary, will you introduce yourself?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So my name's Hillary, and I'm in Salt Lake, South Florida, as well. And I'm just ready to get back into this. I've done 21-day fix before, but life was a little crazy over the last year, so I'm back into it, and I'm really excited. And just ran my first half marathon the day before my birthday. And I have another one coming up in 2 weeks. So I'm excited to kind of take control again and get back to where I want to be, and then some. So
awesome. Hillary's accomplished some awesome things over this 1-year period, and she was actually one of our top 6-week transformation challengers this time last year. So she's got, you guys hook in with her because she knows what it takes to make a winner and a champion out of this. Welcome.
Thanks.
Who else do we got? Megan, are you on the line?
Yeah, I'm here.
Awesome.
My name's Megan Williams. I'm not used to saying that yet because I just got married.
Yay!
So I still sometimes give my last name. But
yeah, when I saw your form come in, I was like, "Who's Megan Williams?"
You're like, "Who is that?" I'm Megan Williams.
It takes months to years. If my experience is like yours, like seriously,
I still write wrong last
Especially
name.
when I sign my name. Yeah.
Yep. I'm having I can't even. It used to be Butler, very basic, and now it's Williams, and it's very loopy, and the struggle is real. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's real.
I can relate.
I'm going to be doing 21-day fix. It is my favorite one that I have done so far out of all of them. I'm going to be mixing running in with that, though. I'm recovering from an injury, and during the time that I was injured, I swear I lost, you take months getting progress and a couple of weeks losing it all. And so I want to be able to run long distances again. So I'll be alternating back and forth between long runs and then 21-day fix.
Awesome. Good. The great thing about muscles is they have memory. So it's you for sure.
I seem to be gaining it back because I've already started, and it seems to be coming back quicker than it came last time when I was working on it. So that is awesome.
Yeah.
That's good. Because it does go so quickly when it goes away. Yeah.
It's terrible how quick you lose it if you don't, stay on it.
Ah, you're coming back, girl. I know it. It's awesome. Who else do we have on the line?
This is Natalie.
Natalie, yay, good morning.
Good morning.
Natalie is our newest Team Core Power coach. I'm so excited that she's here with us today. And this has just been really fun over the last 2 years, I think, Natalie. You and I have gotten to know each other. She's a sister of one of my daughter's really good friends, and I just love every time that I happen into her, if I'm dropping her off, to go play with her friend Rosie, and it's just been really fun. So welcome, Natalie. Introduce yourself.
Thank you. So I'm Natalie in Salt Lake City. Like Tina said, I have a little sister, and she's good friends with one of Tina's daughters. And we met on a play date once, and ever since then, she's been encouraging me to kind of get on the ball, and I'm finally now accepting her invitation. So I'm really excited to kind of get my life back together here.
Awesome. We're so excited you're here. And she and I are going to PIO together, so I'm excited about that. It's one of my favorite programs. Love it. Welcome, Natalie. Who else do we have on the line? Nobody else? Okay. If you're hiding out there and I find out, I think maybe we got everybody. So good. Well, you guys, I'm excited to share with you just tips and some things to get started. And I sent out an email this morning with some information to kind of help you along with some meal plans. So I've got a month worth of meal plans for you that was sent out, plus some recipes from Fix8, which is the 21-day fix cookbook, which gives you 101 recipes that are really easy to integrate the container system if you're using that with the program. Fix8 is just, I love it. It just makes it very easy to put your meals together, right? It kind of simplifies that process of having to, measure everything a different way and count your calories or count your macros, and you just know if it fits in your containers that you can do it. And it's really something that you can use with any of the Beachbody programs. In fact, really over the last 2 years, every program that they've released has integrated the container system into that. So I think that it's really good. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, how to use your containers, how to tally your food, how to look at that, and then a couple of different ideas of how you could meal plan. And then I want to save some time at the end for any questions that you have. So if you guys have questions, make sure you ask those, or if you're on the computer, you can write those into the chat. Is a great place for that too. And we'll just get started and get you guys humming. So the one thing I want to say about meal planning and preparation is, it can seem overwhelming when you get started, right? Because there's so much you could do. But so I want you to not overcomplicate it and just start adding in things, it started for me with just chopping vegetables. Just chopping vegetables and having vegetables ready in the fridge was a huge game changer for me, just to do that one thing. So, once I got good at that and kind of had my system in place of when I did that every week and what I did, I was able to start adding in more and more things to get to kind of all of the things that I'm going to show you today. So don't feel like you've got to integrate all of these, but just kind of say, that idea would really help me, and start integrating some of these ideas. And as you gain confidence in that and feel pretty proficient, start adding in more things, because really this is a mindset shift is more than anything. It's not just about taking a bunch of time to prep your meals. It's really about being thoughtful about your food ahead of time so that you know what you need to do. For example, whenever I cook Sunday dinners, or actually just dinners in general, anytime that I'm cooking dinner, I'm thinking ahead, is this something that would be easy to double up this recipe so I can throw one in the freezer? Or, hey, I'm already chopping onions and peppers. Am I going to need more of those this week? Let me just chop a little bit extra, right? Because if you're already in the act of doing something or making something, doubling it up or spending 2 or 3 extra minutes doing it is going to save you so much time versus having to get everything out of the fridge, find another container, go to the, chop it up. It takes a lot more time if you're doing that multiple times than if you just spend a little bit of time together doing it. So, know that if you can plan an hour or 2 in your weekend, even if it's not just a solid 2 hours, if it's just, a half hour on Saturday, a half hour on Sunday, or just thinking about your meals and what you can be doing to prep for future meals while you're making that meal, that's just it's gonna help you save time, help you be more efficient, and be more thoughtful about what you're eating, right? And that's where the real winner is, I think, when we come to nutrition, is because a lot of things when it comes to nutrition that throw us off track is because we're not being thoughtful. We're not being mindful about our food. We're just reacting. Either we haven't planned something, we haven't eaten in a long time, so we want something quick because we're starving, or, you know, we want something that's convenient because we just really haven't thought about what we want to eat. And so this system, you know, it's something that can give you that structure, but also the flexibility to add in different things. Because if you're like me, I don't necessarily love to eat on Saturday what I thought I wanted to eat the past Sunday, right? So, but if I've got my meal plan done and I understand what meals I'm going to eat, what types of foods and which containers, then it allows me to easily change those things over, right? Like, example, last night, you know, I had on there to have on my meal plan cottage cheese and some berries last night. Well, we just didn't feel like cottage cheese and berries, so instead we made Shakeology ice cream, you know, which was still the same portions, a protein portion and a fruit portion. But, you know, we could switch it up and know that we still were staying on track with what we needed to do. So that's really where I want you guys to focus on where you're going with your nutrition, is being mindful and just feeling confident that you can have flexibility with this system. You can integrate the foods that you love, and you can plan for those things so that you can splurge at times and not feel guilty and not feel like you blew it and totally go off track, but get right back on there because you've been really solid the rest of the time too. All right, so let me show you the containers. And for those of you on the phone, if you want to go back and review this, I'm recording it so that you can kind of see from a visual standpoint. I'll post it in the group shortly after we get done today. But let me see if I can back up here just a little bit. Okay, so the container system is really used with most every program. And for those of you doing PIO, where it doesn't come with the containers, really that system is very much the same as the 21-day fix and these containers and things like that. So, you know that this is similar system as far as food groups for you. And, you know, if you do want to integrate the containers, if this makes it easier for you, just let's chat, because I think that this is something that you can easily put into that plan, or, you know, summon the 21-day fix meal plan, which is now accessible on Beachbody On Demand. You can use the 21-day fix extreme meal plan to really see how these containers work. So in you each get a food guide, and this is available on Beachbody On Demand, so you can access it from a digital standpoint, or you can get your book that you get with your DVDs. And in here, it will tell you how to, so the first thing we're gonna do is figure out how to figure how many containers that you need, or which bracket that you're gonna be eating in. So in your book, it has that formula for you, so you know where you're gonna eat in. So I tend to eat in either calorie bracket 12 to 1500 or 15 to 1800. If I'm, you know, if I feel like I'm trying to slim down, or I go to the lower bracket, but typically I eat in that upper bracket. So, and it tells me the containers that I eat. So 4 green containers, 3 purple containers, 4 red containers, 3 yellow, 1 blue, 1 orange, and then I get 4 teaspoons a day. So how that works, so your green containers are for your vegetables, your purple containers are going to be for your fruits, your red containers are going to be for your protein, your yellow containers for your grains and carbohydrates, your blue container is healthy fats, and then there's 2 orange containers. You can use this for seeds or for dressings. So that's why they give you 2. So if you want to kind of split that up, it's easier to do that if you're kind of taking that on the go. So, and in your guidebook, it'll also give you not only, it'll give you lists, and I have a cheat sheet for this that you can take to the grocery store and things like that, and I'll post that into the group today too. But it gives you a good idea of foods that are included in this. And I can tell you nothing's really off the table as far as in these food groups. But so, which is a good thing because you can always incorporate everything that you love. But what I highly encourage you to do is try to get some of these foods that are going to be at the top of your lists, because it's put together in a way that the most nutrient dense foods are at the top. And then, the ones that, again, are okay to have once in a while, but probably don't give you as much nutrition are at the bottom, right? So like for your green containers, kale, spinach, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, those are at the top of our list. Whereas things like mushrooms, radishes, onions, sprouts, those are good to have still, but they don't have as much nutrition in them. So you want to just kind of create a balance there. So each of your containers comes with a list, and it has that listed for you. There are some things where, it's harder to fit into your container. For example, asparagus. So in that, you can use the guide too, and it will kind of give you kind of a cheat sheet of how to make that work. So for example, for asparagus, it's 10 spears of asparagus. So you don't have to try to cram up those in your container, so you'll know how they fit. So that is the container system. And how you can manage that is through your tally sheets. So there's a couple of different ways that you can do that. I'm going to show you a few different ways. So in your guidebooks, everybody has a tally sheet that's in there. And you can go to the Team Beachbody website, and you can get more of those tally sheets if you want. So if you go on the Team Beachbody website and go to the Get Fit, there is a section there that will have the workout sheets that you can access those there. You can also download them on your Beachbody On Demand. So that's a great place to get the tracker sheets if those work for you. I also send in the email spreadsheet that you can utilize, as well as another tracker sheet that Allison Washam, she did an awesome job, and I've used it ever since. It has your containers at the top and then a daily list that you can create your meals on. So, you can just find the system that works for you. For the longest time, I just used a notebook, and I would write out my daily meals, and I would put next to each meal what my containers were. So so for breakfast, I had a spinach and egg omelet. I would put R for the eggs that I use, G for the green container I use for the spinach, a T for a teaspoon that I use for the oil to cook it in, right? And then if I added cheese, and I would add a blue container, right? So I could see that, and I could write that out. And I typically hadn't been a very good planner as far as planning a whole week in advance. If I could get 2 or 3 days, that was really good for me. But my hard and fast rule for myself that worked for me is before I would eat for the day, I would write out what my meals were going to be for that day, right? Because then I wasn't left guessing which containers I had left or how I was going to make it fit in, or getting to dinner and saying, oh, I have an orange and a blue container. What am I going to eat for dinner? Right? So, whatever style works for you, if you're a minimalist planner or a maximalist planner, you can make this system work. But I'm going to say be consistent and have your meals planned at least for that day before you eat, so that you feel confident in what you're going to eat, but also that you can use your containers the right way. So now what I've tried to do, and you guys have been so amazing to help me with this, because I really wanted to start giving more tools to you guys on a weekly basis. So I started creating a weekly meal plan, and this template I post every week. And I can send you the template if you'd like to use the same format too. But I just write out so I love this because, I'll see if I can zoom in close here, but I put my workouts at the top, so I always know what my workouts are. And then I've got my meals, and I just keep this on my refrigerator, so it's really easy for me. So, and again, it helps me with those times where I want to be flexible. Again, like I mentioned last night, instead of the cottage cheese and grapes, we subbed that out and had Shakeology ice cream, which used the same containers to make that work. So with how you plan your meals and how far in advance, make that customized to you. Start where you need to start, right? For me, it was overwhelming to think about creating a whole week at a time. So doing a couple of days at a time really helped. But some of you who maybe just need that structure and need to know what that is for the week. And I'm going to teach you a couple of different ways that you can plan your meals. So it might work for you to just make it very simple and have just a couple of meals that you're eating that week, and then kind of do a redo or repeats, which I do that often, you know, because I tend to have a lot of the same things for breakfast and for lunch especially, you know, so it's easy for me to just kind of rinse and repeat those and have a lot of those items on hand that I need to be cooking with. So that's kind of the setup for the containers and for how to use your meal plans. Any questions with that before we kind of go into meal planning specifically? Any container questions? Good? Okay, as they come up, because they will, and you guys, as you're getting started and using this, don't be frustrated, because with anything new, it just takes a little bit of time to be able to adjust to that, right? And to make it work. So give yourself a week, 2 weeks to start getting this humming for you so that it works. And again, like I said, just start integrating one thing at a time. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. You know, just start working with where you are and what your system is now, and start making those tweaks and adjustments that you want to make. So I'm going to teach you kind of a few tricks and tools that I use to make meal planning easier for me and to really go into the week strong. So there are, on Beachbody On Demand, there's a new program called Fixate. So it's a cooking show basically that Autumn Calabrese and her brother Bobby have developed. And you know, they post a lot of videos. It's kind of like your own food network for the Fixate. So it's really cool. And you can go in there. There's tons of recipe ideas, and they do like cooking demonstrations that are anywhere from like 5 to 10 minutes. So they're quick, so you can see how they make the meals. But another tool that I want you to utilize on that Fixate is there's loaded in there what's called foundational videos. And if you go in there, I think they're really great. So there's a video on the containers. So if you want to spend more time looking at that and going over the containers, you can go into that video. There's a container on how to set up your pantry. So there's a video on how to set up your pantry, which is really great. So you can kind of see what are some of the key things that I want to keep in my pantry and have on hand for healthier eating. And then she also has 2 videos in there on 2 different styles of planning your meals, which I think is great for you to kind of explore that. And she actually takes you through her actual putting together her meals for the week. So, and there's 2 ways that she does it, and I want to kind of give you both, and I kind of use the second, so I'm going to go into that in more detail in my particular system. But the first method is you can plan a day's worth of all your meals and eat that same thing every single day. So who would that work for? Maybe if you are cooking for 1 or 2, which is really hard a lot of times, right? You know, having that kind of bulk meal and being able to do that would be really helpful to be able to do that. For me, I tend to do that pretty similar on breakfast and lunch, right? Because typically during breakfast and lunch, I'm not cooking for my whole family. It's usually just for me or me and my 2-year-old daughter. So, you know, I don't need to have kind of the variety, because I'm okay. You know, there's probably 10 to 20 foods that I eat pretty regularly, and I'm okay. I can kind of mix that up when I need to, but it makes it simple for me to plan because I have those kind of go-to meals that I always really like and love. So you could take and plan out 1 day of meals and have that Monday through Friday. And so she kind of shows you how to do that. One thing she uses that I really love too are these like U-Save containers. So these are basically kind of like a bento box is what this looks like for those of you on the phone. And, you know, these are microwave safe, they're dishwasher safe, they are pretty sturdy, so they'll last a long time. But you can get like a set of 12 of these. I think I got my set of 12 on Amazon. It's called U-Pack, and they weren't very expensive, maybe like $1 each per container or something. And I really love this. So if you're going to kind of bulk meal plan, like where you want to make your lunches for work every week, you know, have them ready to go, or your breakfasts or your dinners, you know, you can use that kind of system. And, you know, so maybe that will work for you to just kind of plan that one solid week based on the 6 meals that you have, same breakfast every day, same lunch. And, you know, again, you can kind of mix that up a little bit if you need to, or maybe you do that just for breakfast or for your lunches or for your snacks, you know, if you typically have the same types of things like I do. So that's one method that could work. A second method is to prepare some ingredients up front that you can use for multiple meals throughout the week, right? So maybe on Sunday you're cooking a lot of grilled chicken, or you're cooking a lot of ground turkey burger, or you're cutting up your salad greens, and things like that, so that you have those bulk things available to you to use for different meals throughout the week. And that's kind of the system that I follow. In fact, I've kind of named my system my 3-2-1 system. And I really like it. And it's something that's easy, it's memorable to me, and helps me during the weekend to be set up for the week. So let me teach you my 3-2-1 system. And we'll talk about this more as we kind of go through the group too. But my 3-2-1 system is to prep 3 vegetables, to prep 2 proteins, and to prep 1 grain that I can have to use for multiple meals throughout the week. So typical things that I do for my vegetables is I like to have just raw vegetables that I can kind of grab and go for snacks. So some of the raw vegetables that you could look at prepping ahead: celery. That was I probably have wasted more money in my life on celery than any other vegetable because I would buy a stalk of celery and I would bring it home and put it in the fridge. And every time I'd want celery, I'd be like, well, it's not ready. I have to wash it and cut it. And I don't have time for that. So I would leave it. And when I finally pull it out ready to cut it up, it would be wilty and gross, and I would throw it away. Right? I hope you guys can relate, because that was like my pain. So instead of doing that, when you come home, plan your grocery shopping time to have a few minutes that you can just do some cutting and cleaning before you put those things in the refrigerator, right? So I take that celery, I cut it up into smaller pieces, put it into a glass or a Tupperware container that I have celery sticks ready to go, right? So celery's good. Carrots are another great one, and that can be easy too if you just buy the baby carrots. They're already prepared. Jicama is a great one. Peppers, cucumbers, baby tomatoes, all of those types of things are really great for quick grab and go vegetable items, right? So pick what you want. And, you can even get this further prepared. It costs a little bit more to have them prepared, but, if you can buy them already cut up and everything for you. So it really, whatever works for you, make that work in doing that. And then another vegetable that I usually have is just to make a green salad, right? So, and I usually don't add the vegetables to it. I just kind of leave it as the lettuce or the mixed greens. So I usually mix kale and spinach and like romaine lettuce is my typical base. So, but I just have that ready, and you can buy that in the bags, but the bags won't last very long. They go bad in like a day or two. So it's, in my opinion, it's a waste of money unless you really eat that much salad, which most of us don't. So, but if you can buy a head of lettuce and you chop that up, it'll last 4 or 5 days really easily because it's a lot fresher that way. So I just try to have a green salad always ready and on hand because, at least once a day I'm eating a salad. And then the third thing that I do with vegetables is to roast them. And so many vegetables roast really well. Or you can steam them if you like steamed vegetables. That's another good option. But broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, green beans, asparagus, those are probably kind of my top ones that we typically roast. But if you just, put those in a pan, you can toss them in a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper if you want to put other herbs on them. But cook them at 425 for anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, depending how tender crisp you like them. And I usually just toss them once in the middle of cooking, so kind of to rotate them. But I love roasted vegetables, and my family will eat vegetables that they wouldn't eat steamed. They'll eat roasted. It just gives them a good taste and a little bit of crispness to them. That makes it really, really good. So that's typically what I do. I usually try to have one roasted vegetable ready for 2 to 3 days of meals, to have cut up vegetables that I can grab and go that are quick snacks, and a salad that I can throw out with dinner, because it makes it easy. For dinner, we try to have a couple of vegetable options so that way my kids have a choice, because that makes them eat them more readily if they get to choose what they want. But if I can just pull out and I warm up the roasted vegetable and I've got a green salad already ready, you can see how much time that already saves versus having to spend an hour roasting vegetables and cutting up a salad every night, right? To just have those things available to us. So that's the vegetables, what I do. For protein, some of my good go-to proteins is to ground turkey burger, is to have that kind of cooked in bulk. And again, usually like on Sunday, if we're gonna have, you know, tacos or something like that, I will do that. You know, night we're gonna have tacos, I'll cook 2 or 3 pounds of meat, and then I'll use one for that night's dinner, and then I can put the rest in the freezer and have it for future dinners too. And you can take your red container. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll just take my individual containers and I'll portion it out in this. And here, I've got lunch. Here's my frozen turkey burger ready to go in an individual portion for my lunch. So I don't even have to worry about measuring things, right? So I'm saving time there, not even having to measure things out. So ground turkey burger is good. Grilled chicken, you can put a ton of different like herbs and spices, you know, do a quick marinade with that. It makes it really good. There's I think it's a McCormick. It has like an herb. They have like an herb mix. I'll have to take a picture and I'll post it in the group. But I just mix that with a little olive oil and water and marinate it for 30 minutes, and it makes a really good grilled chicken. Fish is another great one that you could do. If you're a fish eater, you could just do a bulk of like cod or tilapia or salmon is a great thing to do. You know, rotisserie chickens are awesome because you can, I mean, it's already prepared for you. I mean, at Sam's Club, I can buy one that's already prepared for me just as cheap as I can one that's not, you know. So if I'm ever at the grocery store, I usually try to pick up a rotisserie chicken. We have it for dinner that night, and then I'll take the rest of the leftovers and put them in my red containers and freeze them, and I'll have them ready for other meals. So rotisserie chicken's a really, really great one. You know, turkey breasts is really easy ones to do, or, you know, a roast on Sunday can turn into shredded beef for tacos or other things during the week. You know, so those are some ideas for meats, and I try to have 2 of those prepared, and then I just kind of build up a stock in my freezer, right? You know, so as I do that over time, now I've got individual bags of sliced grilled chicken ready to go. I've got individual bags of my ground turkey that I can use for tacos or stir fries or, you know, whatever it is that I want to throw those things into. So that's kind of, you know, how you build on that system. And then I also, you know, can freeze bigger portions, right? So this is some shredded pork that we did. So we ate one for dinner, and I've got 2 of these bags in my freezer that now I can do and have for that too. And then your grains. So good grains to make. Sweet potatoes are probably my go-to. That's my absolute favorite. And so I roast sweet potatoes every Sunday for the week. And grains are another good one. So quinoa is a really great grain, or brown rice. You can also do pastas. So there's whole wheat pastas, or you can now do like quinoa pasta or vegetable pasta. So there's lots of different options. And you guys, you can freeze that. So this is some quinoa. So I just took my yellow container, put it in here. But I never knew that you could freeze grains, but I freeze these little bags of quinoa or bags of pasta, whole grain pasta, and it's really easy to pull that out, microwave it for 1 minute, throw that together with the meat and a vegetable, and boom, I've got an instant, you know, stir fry bowl that's really easy to make. So don't forget your grains, and that you can freeze those or put those in. So, but if I cook in bulk, you know, for grains, like typically if I cook brown rice, I want to cook enough for 2 or 3 meals for my family, because brown rice takes an hour to cook. So if I cook it in bulk, I only have to cook it one time, and it's very easy to pull back out and just reheat and use that for that too. So that's my 3-2-1 system: 3 vegetables, 2 proteins, and 1 grain for the week if you could prepare those bulk meals. And then and then you can have those ready to have or to use through the week. So as you're planning your meals, you know, you put your meal plan together, take a look and say, okay, what are some similar vegetables that I'm using for several of these meals? Or what is a similar grain that I'm using for several of these meals. And then, you know, plan to make those in bulk so that it makes it easier and you've already got things together. So you don't have to keep cooking, you just keep mixing those and putting those together. So some other things that freeze really well, I think, are like stews or soups. So this is like a lentil stew that my family really loves. So when I make it, it's in crock pot meal as well, which is really nice. So I'll make that for them and we'll have it for dinner. I'll usually double it so that I've got enough to put in the freezer. And then a lot of times I'll even portion littler sizes. So this is the lentil stew, but this is a lunch portion that I can defrost in the microwave, and I've got an instant meal for me for lunch. I usually put this with the salad, and boom, I've got that to go. So those are some ways that you can kind of use the freezer a little bit better and use those meals to be able to do that too. Any questions that you guys have? I think our recording is going to stop pretty soon, so if we get cut off, know that that's what.
I have a question.
Yes.
Tina. How long does the frozen meat usually last in the freezer?
Well, I use mine probably within a few weeks, you know, because I'm always using it and replenishing it. But I would say several months, you know, it could stay for several months if you needed it to.
Thanks.
Welcome. Any other questions, you guys? Has this been helpful? Good ideas? So leaving this, I want you guys to take and write down 1 to 3 ideas that you will implement this week into getting started. And post those in the group under the thread for this Zoom chat. Let's share those ideas and see what you guys are going to start with and how you can be accountable for that too. Any other questions before we jump off? Thanks you for coming on here too. What other questions?
Where can you find a zoodle maker?
A zoodle maker?
Does anybody know where you can get one of those? Because I had zoodles for the first time like a couple days ago.
Yes, and Amazon.
Yeah, I got mine
Amazon.
on Amazon.
Walmart is great too, but I've got a link for one. I'll put it in the group to the spiralizer that I got, and I really love it. But now even a lot of grocery stores, like if you want to buy them pre-made, they will sell zoodles in packages in the produce section too. So it makes it simple either way. But I'll post the one that I use. It's a Pandera, I think is what it is. But I just bought mine on Amazon, and it slices a few different ways. It's really, really, really nice.
Tina?